for a unique metal, plastics, rubber, noise, and smoke convention. The attraction, head-to-head competition between the country's top drivers and their exotic cars in an effort to make time stand still. It's the National Hot Rod Association Winter National Drags from Pomona, California. What you're looking at is a huge parking lot of the Los Angeles County Fairground. But every February it changes as the elite of drag racing convene for the first major meet of the year. It's like a fashion show to the mechanically oriented. What's new, what's right, what's fast are premiered. Sort of a will wide lapels and cuffs be in to the closed conscience. But speed is the story here today. It's the National Hot Rod Association Winter National Drag from Pomona, California. Hello, everyone. I'm Chris Economax. And ever since Wide World of Sports began in 1961, I've been involved in its motorsporting coverage. This is my first drag racing telecast. And to say the least, I am impressed. Three things stand out visibly in my mind. First, the precision that's required on the part of the competitors, more so than in any other form of motorsporting. Secondly, the investment. There are 611 entrants here, shooting for the $250,000 in prize money and awards, and these 611 cars, over 100 of them represent more than $30,000 each. So the value of the field here represents many millions of dollars, far more than the collective worth of an Indy 500 field. Lastly, there's fan interest. Drag racing has grown by leaps and bounds as a spectator sport. Today's attendance of 40,000 will be more than 5 million expected to see organized drag racing in 1975. Now, going into the events, we had a chance to chat with some of the top competitors. We asked them all the same question. What is the key ingredient to success on the drag strip?
Not let the competition bug you. Probably the desire. It's got to have super reflexes to want to win.
I think it's a very good business sense. Drag racing is a business, and I approach it from a business.
It's interesting that no two agreed on how to be big in this business. Well, today we're going to concentrate on three important facets of drag racing. Pro stock, funny car, and the all-important fire-breathing top fueler. But there are many classes in drag racing, and several of the more important supporting categories have been run. Here's how they turned out. In the modified final, it was Dave Andrews' VW leaving first in a stagger start that proved too much for Butch Leal's Duster. Butch jumped out too soon and red lights Andrews' VW to an easy $8,600. Competition eliminator saw Joe Williams' Fowler T Roadster matched up against Bill Featherston's Opel. It was close all the way, but holding on to win the $8,200 was Featherston at 161.29 miles an hour. And the Pro Comp final went to Don Enriquez, who wiggled his way home just ahead of a late-charging John Shoemaker to win $8,300. In Superstock, John Tedder's Cuda red-lighted, giving John Lingenfelder's vet an easy $7,500. And the stock finals $4,800 went to Tom Thoreau's Camaro when Nick Codria's Firebird got a no-no from the Christmas tree. We start our coverage with the Pro Stock semifinals. Michigan's Dave Canners in a Hornet, Indiana's Bob Clinton in a Mustang. Remember now, the man that gets to the far end of the strip first makes it to the finals where the big money is. The staging lights show the cars are both in position. And it's the Indiana boy, Bob Clinton, home first. Let's take another look at the finish. Down the strip they go. This 1,320-foot quarter-mile strip. Glidden arrives first in less than 9 seconds at 153.84 miles an hour. That from a standing start. Tire burnouts, an interesting, exciting, and necessary preliminary to all drag racing. It cleans the tires and makes them tacky for better traction. Wayne Gap of Michigan, the fastest qualifier, a four-door Maverick, going against three-time Winter Nationals champion Bill Grumpy Jenkins of Pennsylvania. The winner meets Glidden in the final. They're staged and ready to go, and everyone is waiting to see if the fastest qualifier Gap will beat the pro Jenkins. Jenkins, red lights. He's off too early, and he gives it to Michigander Wayne Gap. Here's another look from behind, and there's the red light. Well, not everyone here at Pomona is concerned with speed today. We'll be back for the Pro Stock Finals before this man pedals his quarter mile. Chrissy Conamacky back at the Winter National Drags in Pomona, California, along with a huge crowd of spectators anxiously awaiting the start of the next event, the Pro Stock Final between Wayne Gap and Bob Glidden. Earlier, we had a chance to chat with both of them. First, Wayne Gap.
Wayne, what is different about pro stock dragging, let's say AA or funny car? Well, pro stock is limited by rules. We have to run carburetors, we have to run gasoline. We're limited on displacement. The cars have to weigh so many pounds per cubic inch, so we're pretty well tied down. You might also add that we have to run stock-bodied cars. You have to have sheet metal, doors, windows, and the wheels in the correct place and so forth.
What does that mean from a standpoint of being successful?
Well, it means that you have to have a scientifically engineered car. The cars are built from the ground up. Even though they look like Detroit factory cars, they're highly experimental cars that cost in the vicinity of $25,000 to build.
In 70,000 miles of crisscrossing the country, in 20 major meets, Bob Glidden earned #1 in pro stock racing. Firstly, congratulations, Bob, but it's a new year. What is the pro stock outlook for 1975? Going to be good?
It could be good for us, but it's for sure going to be a lot more competitive. We've got 3 or 4 more racers that are working a little bit harder. It's good. It's just plain words, it's going to be a lot more competitive this year.
And those are the 2 men who will face one another in the Pro Stock Finals coming up. $12,900 to the winner and only $4,100 to the loser. Here's Melanie Vince, a neighbor of Bob Glidden's from Beach Grove, Indiana. He's in the burnout area. His wife, Etta, is his chief mechanic, and there the water is being put on the tires for the burnout. Laundry bleach used to be used. Now it's water, but the area is called the bleach box. And those tires are getting heated up and cleaned. And there, Wayne Gap comes to the line. Gap, remember, the fastest qualifier for the meet. The Winter Nationals, the fastest qualifier, has never won in pro stock. They're in the staging area. It's Glidden on the inside. Gap in the far lane, and Bob Glidden does it. And there Melanie is really happy for her Indiana neighbor.
Bob Glidden with an 8.79. Gavin Rouse with a quicker 8.78.
And an example of how close the competition is, Glidden's speed through the trap, 154.10 miles an hour. He won. He got there first, but it was slower than Gap's at 154.37. And in the elapsed time department, Glidden came home in 8.797 seconds, slower than Gap, 8.781. Why the difference? Bob Glidden got off the line first by a tick of the watch. And now we move to the funny car semifinals. Slingshot dragsters with stock appearing bodies. Weird machines, to say the least, and this one belongs to one of the best in the business. A familiar face to wide world of sports viewers, that of Don Prudhomme, the Snake, winner of the 1974 Nationals at Indianapolis. Don, they tell me that the funny car is the hardest dragster to drive. If so, why?
Well, it kind of depends what category you're in when they make that statement. But yeah, I do. I feel as though the funny car is plenty tough to drive. It has a lot shorter wheelbase than the fuel dragster, although they have the same engine in the car. The wheelbase is a lot shorter, and it's a little more touchier to handle.
What about the aerodynamic forces acting on the car from the outside?
Well, of course, that has a lot to do with it. Without the right spoiler height in the car and the car being close to the ground, it's a little evil handling.
Don, what about the mental pressures on a drag racing driver? You've seen it all, the celebration and the despair. What kind of mental shape must a drag racer be in to do well?
Well, it plays on your nerves. I would say every bit as tough as championship racing, NASCAR racing, all forms of racing. I'm a great fan of Indianapolis racing. I follow it pretty close. And some folks seem to think that's all you do is set in one of these things, go down a quarter of a mile in 6 seconds, it's over with. But to get ready for the race and get your head all set for it in that length of time, it feels like a lifetime, 6 seconds.
The world of the big-time drag racer is a succession of eternities. Staging, start, run, and slow down. Still another dimension, another man in another car. And funny car racing isn't funny at all. Green Elephant, the car of Mike Miller, a young Mountain Lake Terrace, Washington driver, in the bleach box. And look at that fat, soft rear tire. These tires have 5 to 7 pounds of air pressure in them, kept that way so they get as much bite as possible on the asphalt surface. His rival will be Bill Levitt of Richmond, Virginia, in a 75 Mustang. Levitt, the fastest qualifier here, has a jinx to beat. For in all the years and in all the classes at Pomona, the fastest qualifier has only won 2 titles, both by Don Perdum and many years ago. Now in the staging area, the critical staging area. Remember, to win, you must get to the other end first, regardless of time or speed. And staging in this context is very important. The timing light breaks just beyond the staging lamp, a matter of inches. And at this level of competition, it is these few inches that often mean victory or defeat. Hence the need for great precision and reaction time on the part of the drivers involved. They're standing by, about ready to go, revving the engines up. The Green Elephant, the car owner's name is Green and has an elephant engine, a unique way to christen a car, and they wait for the light to turn green, and they're off. Levitt swivels, and it looks like the jinx is beating Levitt as Miller goes down in a beautiful run. 6.447 seconds for Mike Miller. The speed, 212.79 miles an hour. Over 200 miles an hour from a standing start. Miller moves to the final. And in the second semifinal, it's going to be the Army versus the Marines. Yes, the battle for recruits extends to the drag strip as Don Perdum has the backing of the khaki, and his rival, Charlie Thurwanger of Lubbock, Texas, is spurring Marine enlistment. Neither driver is a serviceman. It's also going to be a Chevrolet Pontiac battle, as Perdum's car, a new Chevy Monza, is going against Thurwanger's Pontiac Grand Am. And down the strip, it's Perdum, straight as an arrow for the victory. A speed of 212.76 miles an hour. Let's have another look. Watch Thurwanger in the right lane. He gets a little bit sideways, and right there is where he loses it, as Perdum goes down to beat Miller in the finals. Perdum's time, 6.286 seconds. No time for babbling. A quick reminder, 1 week from tomorrow, it'll be the Daytona 500 stock car race, live on most of these ABC stations, except in portions of the Southeast. At Indianapolis, the garages have light, heat, running water, and air conditioning. Not so in drag racing. Here's an example. Gary Durbin's car suffered a compression leak in 3 of its 8 cylinders. He has 3 hours to do a major engine overhaul. His engine is spread out over the hood of his tow truck. Here's the cylinder head, the exhaust header, the supercharger, and his mechanics are re-ringing the pistons and rods on the far side. Down here, the car itself, and Gary busy honing the cylinder walls, standing on this parking lot of the fairgrounds here at Pomona. He's under extreme pressure, because if he doesn't finish this work in time, all the work will be for naught. Just an example of what today's drag racer goes through to be competitive. Now let's move over here to the pre-stage area and chat with the fellow who faces Don Perdum in the funny car final. You got a serious look on your face, Mike. Going against Perdum, I guess, is probably the toughest guy you could face, huh?
He's tough, but I'm not really worried about him. I mean, I feel that if the car's up to snuff, we'll win, and I think it is. And the snake's just like another guy as far as I'm concerned. Yeah, I'm sure I'm better. I mean, you know, you got to think you're the best or you never are.
The face-off between Miller and Prudhomme in just a moment. The funny car final, Mike Miller in his green elephant and Don Prudhomme in his army wagon, as the nitroglycerin-based fuel makes the exhaust flicker. Mike Miller, who has never won a title, is a contemplative man whose nerves, ability, and confidence are under severe test as he faces his last 6-second eternity of the day. 13,600 to win, 4,500 to lose. And Miller in trouble early as Prudhomme streaks for the line to win the title. Poor Mike Miller, a top driver, but just can't seem to get that first national win. Let's have another look. Off the line, Miller's car suddenly veers sideways. He's trying to gain control. He crosses the line. That's a disqualification, but he'd lost the race already as Prudhomme's car, like it's on rails, pops the chute, and another title for the Snake. Here it is from another angle. And there's Miller having trouble maintaining control of that high-powered car. The strike of the Snake, 6.243 seconds, 226.7 miles an hour. Now let's talk to the loser, Mike Miller. Mike, what happened?
Biggest tire we had. I thought it'd hold, but it didn't.
Tire cost you the race.
Smoked the tires, yeah. Bummer. Oh well. Gainesville's next. We'll get him there. I think.
Tired of losing?
Yeah, I'm sure tired of it, that's for sure. Smoked the tires, right?
So, it's a familiar picture that we see so often on Wide World of Sports.
Tough break, Mike. Yeah, I know.
The man who gives his best only to suffer the agony of defeat. And he ponders just where to place the blame, on himself or his equipment.
I knew it was, I couldn't believe those big tires had come loose.
What about Miller? When did you know he had trouble?
Well, I really didn't know because, you know, you set in these things, you really can't tell what's happening. So I run my own race and leave the start line. As long as I don't see him, I'm happy. Thank you.
Well, the big crowd at the Pomona Fairgrounds awaits the climactic competition in the top fuel category here at the National Hot Rod Association Winter Nationals. We'll be back to see these nitro-burning, fire-breathing slingshot machines in action a bit later in the program. But now, we leave this ear-splitting atmosphere for the quiet beauty of figure skating just a few hundred miles to the north. It's Jim McKay in Oakland, California. Back at Pomona, California for the 1975 Winter National Drag Races. And what an event it has been. We're going to concentrate now on the top fuel, the class of the drag racers, the super heavyweights. And what an event this will be. Earlier in the show, you saw what the responses were from participants in drag racing as to what is important. Not a single one used the expression luck. And that's played an important part in the goings-on to this point today. The Arnold Palmer, the O.J. Simpson, the Wilt Chamberlain, the A.J. Foyt of drag racing, a little man from Sefner, Florida, Don Big Daddy Garlitz, is the focus of all eyes. He's in the semifinals, but he shouldn't be. His first round luck started out disastrously, but in a matter of split seconds, Dame Fortune turned and smiled his way. Let's look back and see exactly what happened. Garlitz, in the near lane, spun his driving wheels and dropped behind, and his rival, Don Ewald, got unbelievably sideways and swerved across the center line for an automatic disqualification with a race in the bag, saving the day for Garlitz. Here's another look in stop action of this remarkable incident. Garlitz now, in the near lane, looking for a record fourth Winter National win, comes off the line okay, but immediately his wheels start to spin on the paving. He has lost the race right here. Meanwhile, his rival Ewald ahead starts across the line after his machine gets sideways. The minute he gets on the yellow line, that's a disqualification, and Garlitz is the winner, though he should have lost it. Here's how he saw it. What happened on the first run?
Well, the pair ahead of us, the Kentucky Moonshiner, just completely barfed an engine right on the starting line in his burnout, so the whole right lane was completely covered with oil. Well, the system works. The man with the low ET qualifying gets lane choice. Well, I was racing Ewell, and he had lane choice. So he originally wanted that lane, which was the good lane, the right lane, so then he put me over there, and I was finished. There was nothing I could do. They massaged the track, but the very first guy down the course on a situation like that is out. And sure enough, I did everything I could, and it went out, smoked the tires, and Ewald drove out in front of me about 2 car lengths and then turned right into my lane. And, of course, that's an automatic disqualification.
Why do you think he did that?
I think he was shook. I think he probably thought that I was right on his heels and he was getting a little out of shape, and instead of lifting and coming back on course, he didn't know where I was at. I was about 2 cars back. If he had lifted, I might have caught him, but he didn't, and of course it's all history now.
So Big Daddy went into the quarterfinals against Dick LaHaye. He topped the Michigander with a 6.009 second run to hit 234.37 miles an hour and graduate to the semifinals, which we'll see in just 1 minute. In the first semifinal, we'll match Garlitz, the Florida swamp rat from Sefner, and a Fountain Valley, California boy with a colorful name of Rick Ramsey. Watch Garlitz's right rear tire. That soft Goodyear has only 5.5 pounds pressure in it. Look at it grow as he burns it off. Now it's Ramsey's turn. He's got a tough row to hoe, coming up against the best in the business. Garlitz, a 3-time winner here at Pomona, is looking to make it 4. Now they go to the staging area, the critical part. The 2 left-hand lights set the stage light. They must be obstructed, and the right-hand light is the one that starts the clock. Now Garlitz is about ready to move into the stage. Ramsey's car, the top of the screen, blocks the lights. He's staged. Now Garlitz is staged, and they wait now for the signal to go. It's Big Daddy, clear and fast, away from Ramsey. Over the line with a parachute pulling him to a soft stop. The clock said 6.192 seconds, his speed, a phenomenal 229 flat to move into the finals. Garlitz is from Florida, but everything on his car except his homemade chassis is produced in California. The second semifinal will match red-bearded Dave Settles of Houma, Louisiana, and Herm Peterson of Fullsboro, Washington. And these are the $30,000 to $50,000 cars, not including their travel rigs. The collective value of the entire field here at Pomona figures to be more than that of an Indy garage area. And as for return on investment, today's purse is $261,350. $13,500 in top fuel, $4,500 for the run-up. Now let's watch this tire grow to maturity. And in a glimpse, you can see the stresses that the tires undergo during the burnout process. This long California day has been an extremely challenging one for the crews and the drivers. First of all, the weather, which started out warm and sunny, has been changing all day long. It's now cool. This means engine change. And with the track conditioning changing, the tire pressures and clutch settings have to be revamped. Everything must be tailored to the conditions of the moment. Side by side, ready to go. Remember, winner gets a shot at Garlitz in the final, and it settles. The Cajun gets a shot at Big Daddy. Winning speed, 211.26 miles an hour. Now here's a look at the finish in slow motion. Every power stroke of the engine can be seen pulsing out of the exhaust. Old Redbeard goes against Big Daddy in the finals. We'll see that in a minute. The Top Fuel Final, a classic drag race, an acceleration contest between 2 cars, racing from a standing start over a precisely measured straight-line quarter-mile course. The top men in the business, Don, Big Daddy, Garlitz, and a youngster from Cajun country, Dave Settles of Houma, Louisiana. For drag racing fans who wonder what may become of Gary Beck, was expected to give Garlitz a fit. He had the fastest qualifying time, 5.9, and the top speed, 244.5, but was eliminated in the second round. Now the moment of truth, coming to the line. In this classic drag race, conditions are changing even more. Storm clouds are moving in. The temperature has dropped way down. It is late in the day. Many fans have been here since 7:30 this morning, waiting for this moment. And Settles blows it. He spins his wheels, and Garlitz, his engine smoking, streaks down the line for an unprecedented 4th Winter Nationals title. And Dave Settles coasts along at just over 50 miles an hour. And Big Daddy, Don Garlitz, will have $13,500 to take back to the little town of Sefner, Florida, just outside of Tampa, where he builds his cars and buys his parts from California. Winter National title number 4, Garlitz is the biggest drag racing winner in organized history. Title number 12 in national competition. Let's have another look at that. Off the line, and immediately Settles' wheels burn. That's fine in the bleach box, but no good on the strip. because the car virtually stands still by drag racing comparison, and the crowd goes wild as Don Garlits, the swamp rat from Scepter, wins yet another Winter Nationals crown. Going in, the Louisiana youngster said he so badly wanted to beat that old man of 43.
43, that ain't old.
Garlett's winning time, 6.236 seconds. His speed, 223.88 miles an hour. Earlier, I said I hadn't been to a drag race for many years. But after seeing what took place at the Winter Nationals today, I'm hooked again. And there, two of the sport's top stars, Don Purdom, the funny car champion, and Don Garlett's Big Daddy, winner of the top fuel honors. And this is Chrissy Conamacki saying, so long from Pomona, California. Be sure to be with ABC's Wide World of Sports Sunday version tomorrow as we bring you a highly entertaining acrobatic group from Nationalist China, along with the final qualifying race in the World Series of Auto Racing at 4:30 Eastern, 3:30 Central and Pacific Time over most of these ABC stations. The executive producer of ABC's Wide World of Sports is Rune Arledge. Drag racing produced by Ned Steckel, directed by Lou Volpicelli. Figure skating produced by Doug Wilson, directed by Larry Cam. Barrel jumping produced by Bob Goodrich, directed by Bryce Wiseman. Coordinating producer of ABC's Wide World of Sports is Dennis Lewin. Director of Program Planning, John Martin. Associate Directors, Norm Samet and Ronald Hawkins. Technical Directors, Bob Moore and Dale Sundholm. Stay tuned now, as the Reason Report brings you the story of Patty Hearst, 1 year later, following immediately over most of these ABC stations. Travel arrangements made through and a promotional fee paid by United Airlines. United, offering more wide-body 747 and DC-10 friendships to more cities across your land. The spirit of friendship service. It's catchy. Today's program was pre-recorded.
Yeah.